Well, good morning. Happy Friday to all. It's January 17th, 2025, and it's about 6 a.m. here in Northern California. And today I have a treat for all of you guys. I have my good friend, as well as my business partner, Jody Macbeth. And Jody Macbeth and myself have been collaborating 3 years now. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to meet because of leads, masterminding over how to better service our agents, our customers, how to better provide a great lead at a cost that doesn't break the bank. And I am happy to say that, for the last few years, me and Jody have been working on just that. In fact, we predicted that the one-to-one consent would go into effect last year. And here we are at the end of 2024, where it became finally a law. And now we are in 2025, within 10 days of this one-to-one consent to go into effect. And it's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. The impact that this new one-to-one consent will have on anybody that's doing any kind of sales, any type of marketing. And the problem comes when you pick up the telephone, when you use your fancy CRM to contact those people. So today I invited again my friend Jody to this discussion, and we wanted to, help all of you guys just kind of see a little bit more clearly of what these costs mean to you. But before we start, um, I would like to spend a little time here with Jody. Jody, can you share with everybody just a little bit of what your day-to-day looks like?
Sure. Thank you, Laurel. So day to day, our logic is our leads call you. So day to day, we run campaigns on different platforms where people see our ads. They go to our landing pages and they opt in or they call in for various verticals, i.e., final expense, ACA, auto, and so on. And so that's basically my role with my team, is to make sure that our clients daily are getting those quality leads, mostly as Laura and I have been working hardcore on the one-to-one to make sure that things are coming in properly. So we're set up and ready to go.
And Jody, from you being in the marketing space for so many years, how is this new one-to-one consent affecting, the marketing side of things? If you can share with the public how that has affected everything, you know, from, in the back burners. What have you seen?
Good, no, good question. We've seen a lot. Obviously, one of the biggest areas is cost. It used to be back in the day that you could purchase properly and legal opted in data, and you would dial that data and everything would be proper and compliant. And that data, you could pay anywhere from 7 cents to 30 cents for that lead. We now switch that over to what we call one-to-one consent, and that now is probably a $3 to $5 purchase per lead. So it has impacted the cost of operations in a big way. So literally, it's becoming equally economical to run your own digital marketing campaigns like we are for ourselves and many of our clients. So that literally the cost of doing business is now equal to running your own inbound campaign versus a call center dialing a bunch of random data. So it's, as you hear the numbers, the cost has gone up a lot.
My goodness, think about that, guys. We went from paying cents to generate a lead to now $5, making it very, very difficult for a lot of companies to stay, consistent with their leads within the next 10 days. That's going to change for everybody. But some of the points that I want to highlight in terms of extra cost, besides, your leads costing more, because you're either going to have to bring the marketing in-house. If you're a life insurance agency or a insurance carrier, you're going to have to bring that in home so you can make sure that the compliance from start to finish is 100%, not 98%, 100%. And like Jody mentioned, one of the things that we do is that we help those type of clients manage their marketing, and we do it for them. What we do for our agents, we do all of that for our agents, and the agent pays on a per lead basis. But again, the consent has to be explicit, clear, of who's going to be calling, of what product, of what service, and it has to be. And one of the extra costs that I want to share to you guys in terms of technology is that now, whether you're a insurance agency running agents that are working leads, you're going to have to make sure that every single one of your agents is working your agency's approved leads with the consent to your agency, and again, the product and services that you represent. The days of buying leads from one vendor and another vendor and the consent form not having your information, but just because you sold the same product, those days are over. Correct, Jody?
Absolutely. No,
It is
100% Laurel.
it is 100% one-to-one. So extra cost, a CRM system. You're going to have to make sure that your CRM tracks the lead from the moment of origination, and you have to make sure that that CRM system weeds that out within 90 days, because we only have 90 days permission to contact that person, to use any of the fancy, CRMs, text messaging. After 90 days, you can no longer use that technology to reach out to those people. With our CRM, when our agents or our agents or our clients receive that inbound, the CRM system suppresses that call after 90 days. It will not allow for that to be called or text. But for all of you guys right now, and you're asking yourself, CRM, I'm just using my cell phone. Well, now it's going to be more important for you to be organized and get yourself, again, a CRM where you manage your leads, where you keep track of those consents, where you're able to make sure that your CRM system is programmed in a way that complies with the TCPA consent rules. And another cost, guys, is that with this new one-to-one consent, your legal cost, compliance is going to go through the roof if you do not follow the guidelines. And I'll give you a quick example of where I could see litigators just making a ton of money suing people because they're not following this law. So if, for example, somebody sells you a lead and that lead does not have your information your products, your services, and you call that person, even if it's fresh lead, that right there is a violation because you don't have permission. And that person could be a litigator, and they can easily flip that around and send you a lawsuit for violating their TCPA rights. This is what it comes down to. So the days of sharing leads from one group to another group are over. So this also can increase your legal costs unnecessarily if you're not, again, training for this and looking out for it. Another cost too that increases is your operational cost. Because now if you're, let's say, an agency owner, regardless of the size of your agency, you got to invest your money in training your staff, the agents, on these guidelines, on these one-to-one consent rules. If before you let your agents buy aged leads from some other place, today the only way you can call an age list is under the premise of a cold call. And when you cold call, what does the law state, Jody, to cold calling when you call?
Sure. So on cold calling, and understand folks that are listening, the advice and information we're giving, we are not legal counsel. This is industry experience, and please, for sure, retain your own legal counsel on any information we give out. So the rules that we must follow for cold calling, it cannot be robo, the robo dialers, it cannot be that. And obviously, if you're calling folk, you cannot. And I know Laurel has repeated this numerous times, but if you're cold calling, you cannot call folks that are on the federal or the state DNC. And not only that, there's also rules for each state of when to call. So it's extremely important, like as Laurel said, that you have a dialer. For example, the CRM that we use has all those rules integrated into its system already. So if somebody does do something innocently, because the rules do change a lot, it could be, for example, the hours that I call folks in California are different than the hours I call folks in Texas. Well, it's challenging to keep up with all those rules. The CRM that we use, it does all that on our behalf. So there's a lot about the cold calling, but very, very important for sure that the opt-in is there, but do not be calling on the DNC list for sure.
You cannot call on that DNC list. You cannot text it. And again, you got to make sure that if you do cold call somebody, that you dial one-to-one human being, and you check that that phone number is not on any of those registries. Guys, the risk of not being in compliance is going to be higher than ever before for a lot of people that don't take this new one-to-one consent serious. For 2024, me personally, I settled over 6 figures in settlements with agencies, you ranging from health insurance, life insurance, alarm system, solar, and people cold calling without any regard to DNC laws as well as TCPA laws. And now with this one-to-one consent, it's going to reduce a lot of those unwanted calls. That's the whole purpose of this. But also, if you as an agent, sales professional, are not up to speed on these laws and this criteria when it comes to generating your leads or buying your leads, it's going to cost you so much in legal fees and settlements that I'm talking, if not millions, it could be in the billions of dollars because of just how crazy these fines are. And this only makes it worse. And Jody has, been traveling throughout the last 12 months to different conferences. And, some of these conferences, correct me if I'm wrong, Jody, there's not a whole lot of lead vendors attending those conferences, right? I mean, some of those insurance ones you've attended, correct? So that in itself is scary to think about, that there is a lack of not just training, but also an emphasis of how this was going to cost you, your agent, your agency, and not to mention the insurance carriers or the companies that you work for. One last thing I wanted to add here. Just a couple weeks ago, I heard of an insurance carrier that cut their telesales division. I mean, just came out and just axed it. 24-hour notice, it's over. Simply because of a TCPA lawsuit, potential class action lawsuit. That agency now has to figure out what they're going to do. Think about that. And this agency was doing significant production every single month, but one TCPA lawsuit shut down the doors. So I hope you guys all can really take this seriously. I know me and Jody, we've been back and forth for, a couple years, and I'm happy that, this started for us 2 years ago, because now our system, I'm not going to say it's perfect, but we do have our TCPA and our DNC 100% down. So if you need leads, Jody, can you share the type of leads we have for final expense moving forward as of January 27, 2025, please?
Sure. So the leads that we have are ads that will be on social media, obviously, that go to a landing page. We also will have even leads on TV ads, which are really cool. And the good news about these leads is no human is involved. Literally, the prospect will see these ads, they will see the number, they will dial in, and it will obviously go to one of our trained final expense life insurance agents. The good news is, even on the ad, on the landing page, there's a very clear disclaimer that when you call in, the moment you call in to one of our agents, that you are giving us consent to call you back, because obviously we're not going to answer every phone call. However, you are giving us the right to call you back, and it's very clear in its writing. Also, very important that if someone does call us and we miss the call, even on our voicemail, we're very clear in our language of what we word and what we say, such as "Thank you for calling Laurel Herrero Insurance. Sorry I missed your call. We will be getting back to you within, let's say, 24 or 48 hours via email, text, or phone call." Make sure to list all three. That way you're covered from the ad to the voice message. So those are things we are highly focused on right now, and it's working. And that's why we use the wording, "Our leads call you," because literally they do.
That's right. And a little side note for all of you guys that just want to keep everything simple, you might not have a big budget to start your own marketing division for your agency. Joining us here at Senior Life, in terms of the one-to-one consent, just makes things so easy, because all you got to do is just focus on making presentations and selling, and not have to worry about your marketing or not to mention the legalities of that. Now, for all of those people that join our agency here with Herrera and Macbeth, we offer $40 per social media inbound 2-minute buffer, and we bill TV, which is an incredible television commercial, infomercial, and we bill that at, I believe, $60, correct, Jody? 2-minute buffer.
That's correct. So just to be very clear, Laurel's team. So what happens if you sign on under Laurel's team? Laurel's number, Laurel's contracts, Laurel's training. That pricing for the inbounds is $40 over 120. However, if you choose to just buy our leads without all of that umbrella, if you want to call it that, it's $45 over 120. On the TV leads, same thing. Under Laurel's umbrella, it's $60 over the 120. And if you don't want to go that direction, which is perfectly fine as well, it's whatever you choose to do, it's $65 over the 120.
So again, it's not cheap, ladies and gentlemen. And like I've been saying, lead costs, we're going to only increase in 2025. But as Frank Bettinger famously says, there is a price in everything. There is the price of being prepared, and there is the price of not being prepared. But what he said is that the price of not being prepared will always be more expensive than the price of being prepared. So yes, on the surface, the leads might be more expensive, but you'll never have to worry about getting a demand letter from a law firm demanding thousands of dollars, if not millions or billions. You don't have to worry about your CRM system if it's in compliance. All you got to worry about is selling. And yes, you pay a little extra, but you don't have to worry about that. And one thing I want to add before we end here, talking about cost, when people don't pick up the phone, that increases your cost. So by buying an inbound and starting your, sales process there by receiving inbounds, it gives you a better shot. Because again, if you were to buy, 100 names and numbers of people that filled out a landing page, 80% of those people are not going to pick up the phone. Yesterday, one of my sales, it was funny because I had presented to this person on the 20th of November, and the person says, "Oh, I need to think about it. Call me next week." And yesterday, almost 2 months later, the person finally picked up the phone, closed it out for $57. So you got to be committed. Well, my friends, I hope this information helped all of you guys really take this serious. Do more research on these laws and how they affect you. In the next 10 days, this will become law. I know right now there is a big organization by the name of the Insurance Marketing Coalition that's really fighting to stop this one-to-one consent from moving forward. And so far, they've presented a very interesting argument that if it goes through, then it's going to stop this. But from what me and Jody have seen, we haven't seen any indication that they're changing it, stopping it, modifying it as of now. And today's the 17th of January. So get prepared, or else come the 27th of January, you're going to find yourself with the lead system out of compliance, a CRM system that you can't use, and putting yourself out there for some litigator to take you to court and clean out your money. So with that said, you guys have a great weekend. Jody, man, thank you so much for everything you do. And thank you for your time here today. In 2025, we're going to have Jody spending a lot more time with us talking about lead generation, marketing, and different strategies that will be given out to all of you to help you on your journey of lead generation. You know, if you don't have money to buy leads, one of the best investments you could make is get on YouTube, get on Facebook, get on TikTok. There's so much technology today, from AI to, editing software that's so easy to use. And it just requires you to start creating content, and you start creating an audience, and people start reaching out to you. And that's one way to start generating business. So we definitely got to get creative, because the old ways of doing business definitely aren't working like they used to. And you got to get creative and embrace new ideas. But at the same time, always keep in mind the cost associated with it. So again, with that said, God bless you guys, and thank you.